Let's talk about victim mentality. You know, that thing where someone gets so stuck in their struggles that they stop trying, where they blame everyone else for their problems and refuse to take any accountability, where every setback becomes proof the world is against them, and taking action feels pointless. That's real, and it absolutely can keep people trapped. In fact, building resilience, taking accountability, focusing on what you can control, that's not bad advice. For many people, that mindset can really help. But here's what's also happening. That same phrase, stop playing the victim, has started showing up in places it was never meant to go. Now, if you talk about wage stagnation, victim mentality. Mention your anxiety or depression. Victim mentality. Call out discrimination. Victim mentality. Talk about needing social support. Victim mentality. So, a concept that was supposed to help people take control of their lives has quietly become something else. A way to shut down conversations about problems that actually need to change. And here's the thing. This isn't about left versus right. It's about up versus down. Because whether you vote red, blue, or not at all, if you're working for a living, this narrative affects you. It keeps the powerful comfortable, while the rest of us keep struggling. Now, many people repeating this phrase genuinely believe in personal responsibility. They've worked hard, overcome real struggles, and they want others to do the same. But that belief is being used by people at the top who benefit when the rest of us stop asking uncomfortable questions. So, in this video, we're breaking down how a real psychological concept became a tool of control, how it protects the powerful while keeping many doubting themselves, and why naming injustice isn't weakness. It's actually the first step toward change. Because if the people at the top can convince all of us that pointing out problems makes us weak, they never have to fix anything. And that's exactly where they want us. The illusion of control. Why regular people adopt this narrative. It makes sense that the idea of a victim mentality sounds appealing. Who wouldn't want to believe they're fully in control? That success, failure, and even happiness are just a matter of effort, attitude, or mindset. That we all have equal opportunities, and success is simply about seizing them. It's a comforting story. Because if life is truly fair, then anyone's hardship must be their fault, and anyone's success fully deserved. It gives the illusion of order in a chaotic world. But it also blinds us to the structures that make that fairness impossible. Psychologists call this the just world fallacy, the comforting belief that people get what they deserve. It explains why many instinctively blame individuals for their struggles instead of questioning the system. It's why awareness gets dismissed as weakness, empathy gets labeled as entitlement, and real barriers disappear under a cloud of personal failure. And on the surface, that message sounds motivating. Push yourself. Take accountability. Don't dwell on setbacks. That's solid advice in many contexts. But the problem is what it leaves out. Poverty, discrimination, overwork, mental health struggles, and unequal opportunities. Struggles that aren't caused by mindset, but by reality. Now, let's be clear. There's such a thing as getting stuck in helplessness. Blaming everything on forces outside yourself, that's real, and it can keep you trapped. But here's what's happened. That legitimate concern has been stretched so far that now simply naming a problem gets you labeled as having a victim mentality. There's a massive difference between, I can't do anything, so why try? And this system is rigged, and we need to fix it. One is giving up, the other is demanding change. But they're being treated as the same thing, and that's not an accident. But convincing people they're fully responsible for outcomes beyond their control keeps them stuck, and the powerful comfortable. How the narrative gets weaponized. This is where stop playing the victim stops being advice and becomes a tool of control. Stop blaming others. You're overreacting. Everyone feels anxious sometimes. Not everything is about race. Your choices got you here. Take responsibility. The message is clear. Your pain is invalid. Your mindset is the problem. And when that message repeats often enough, people start to internalize it. They doubt their own experiences instead of questioning the structures that cause them. This pattern shows up the most when the stakes are highest. When workers demand fair wages, when communities call for affordable housing, when people push for mental health support, or when marginalized groups speak about systemic barriers. And over time, resentment builds. The people being dismissed feel invisible, like their pain doesn't count. And those calling them out for playing the victim feel like their own struggles are being ignored. Neither side feels understood. One believes the other refuses to take responsibility. The other feels their reality is being denied. That division doesn't happen by accident. It keeps regular people fighting each other instead of questioning the forces keeping everyone under pressure. Who spreads the narrative and who it serves? Here's where it gets tricky. Most people repeating this narrative aren't doing it to protect the powerful. They genuinely believe it. Many have struggled themselves, worked multiple jobs, climbed out of poverty, overcome real hardship. And when they hear others talk about systemic barriers, it can feel like their own hard work is being dismissed. But here's the thing. Your struggle was real, and the system is rigged. Both can be true. You can work incredibly hard and still face barriers others don't. You can succeed despite the odds and recognize that millions of others with the same work ethic didn't get the same breaks, the same timing, the same safety net when things went wrong. The victim mentality narrative isn't appealing because people are cruel. It's appealing because it offers control. It says, if you just do X, Y, and Z, you'll succeed. And when you have succeeded, it feels good to believe that formula works for everyone. But belief in that formula serves someone else's interests. Because when working people are too busy judging each other's attitudes, instead of questioning why wages haven't kept up with productivity, or why housing costs have exploded, or why healthcare can bankrupt you, the people at the top stay comfortable. And it's not just about economics. This narrative shows up everywhere. Uncomfortable truths need to be silenced. When people talk about racism and how it's shaped opportunities and generational wealth, stop playing the victim. Everyone faces challenges. When someone opens up about mental health struggles, toughen up. Stop being so sensitive. When communities discuss generational trauma, that was decades ago. Move on. Same pattern, same effect, same question. Who benefits when these conversations get shut down? The conversation stays focused on individual choices instead of collective power, and that's exactly where they want it. How the narrative protects the powerful. So who really benefits when we're told to stop playing the victim? Spoiler, it's rarely the people being silenced. The powerful love this story. CEOs, corporations, politicians, anyone whose comfort depends on the system staying the same, they get a free pass. Because if struggling people are blaming themselves or each other instead of the system, there's less pressure to fix anything. Less talk of fair wages, safety nets, unequal starting points. Less talk of policy that actually levels the playing field. It's the perfect system. People policing their own experiences, doubting their own struggles, and even policing each other. All while the rules stay exactly as they are. And here's the double standard. When was the last time a billionaire faced criticism for victim mentality? When corporations complain taxes are too high or regulations are too harsh, that's never called whining. That's called business reality. When wealthy families talk about legacy and passing down advantages to their children, that's called building generational wealth, and it's celebrated. But when marginalized communities talk about generational harm, how redlining, discriminatory lending, or residential schools created disadvantages that compound over time, that's called playing the victim. The rules are different depending on who's speaking. Because the powerful can name their struggles and get policy changes, bailouts, and legal protection. But when regular people name theirs, they get told to work on their mindset. Look, we might disagree on how to fix things, but if you're working for a living, struggling to get ahead, and being told it's all on you, we're in the same boat. And the people steering the ship, they're counting on us never figuring that out. Reclaiming the narrative. Here's the takeaway. Noticing unfairness isn't weakness. Calling out harm isn't whining. Seeing systemic barriers clearly isn't defeat, it's clarity. And here's what reclaiming this narrative looks like. It means recognizing that both personal responsibility and systemic change matter, that you can take action in your own life while also pushing for a system that doesn't make everything so damn hard. It means refusing to let a narrative designed to keep you quiet stop you from speaking up. And it means seeing that the people dismissing your struggles aren't always your enemy. Sometimes they're just repeating a story that was written by someone else, someone who benefits from all of us blaming ourselves instead of organizing together. Because here's the truth the powerful don't want you to realize: awareness is strength, speaking out is strategy, and seeing injustice clearly, that's how change begins. Not by pretending everything's fine when it's not, by naming what's broken and demanding something better. If this resonates, share it, reflect on it, keep questioning the narratives around you. Because the more clearly we see what's really holding us back, the more power we have to change it together.